Hello everyone, karibu kwenye show. Now today we are going to be looking at smart farming. Now we are going to be looking at what are some of the challenges that farmers today are facing and how can they be able to solve the challenges. There are different ways in which a farmer can solve the challenges, and mostly we are going to look at the climate change. Nowadays the climate is unpredictable. Time ya mvua unapata kuna jua, time ya jua unapata kuna nyesha, and maybe you had planted something that is not going to do well on the rainy season, or maybe you had planted something that is not going to do well on the sunny season. So we are going to look at what are some of the ways a farmer can use to be able to have the plants growing in any season. Now, I'll be your host, Immaculate Mugo. Stay tuned, and I believe that you're going to learn a lot and benefit ourselves as the farmers. Now, the first thing that a farmer should do before you even plant, in these times where the weather is unpredictable, you should be able to plant different crops. Plant a variety of crops. Don't only major in one crop. Kama ulikuwa umesema I'm going to plant sukuma wiki only, you're not going to do any other thing. What if the climate changes? What if there are harsh climatic conditions? The sukuma wikis are not going to grow, and you're not going to have anything in return. That is going to lead to loss, because remember, you had invested your money, you have invested your time, and at the end of the day, you are planting the sukuma wiki maybe for home use or for selling. Now you're going to have a loss, and that is not what we need as farmers at the end of the day. So make sure if you're planting your crops, decide, I'm going to plant sukuma wiki, I'm also going to plant some potato, I'm going also to plant some beans. You just divide your land. You plan yourself out, you divide your land, and now you do sukuma wiki, potato, beans, provided you have the plants available. You can be able to access them. Then try doing a mix in your farm. That way, if the sukuma wiki fails, then the potatoes, maybe they might grow. If the potatoes fail, maybe the beans will grow. You never know. And that way, at the end of the day, you're going to have something to be proud of, something you can go back to the farms, harvest, sell, or use at home. So try that. Make sure you're not only dwelling on one crop. Now, another thing that you can do as a farmer back at home to make sure that you are not lacking something at the end of the day is making sure that you look at the climate. Just listen to the news, watch, tazama habari, listen to the radios. We are having a weather forecast every now and then at the end of the news. Kuna hata these apps on the phones whereby they only deal with farming. So you get that they try to advise the farmers on what they should plant during these seasons. They come and tell you maybe the rains are to be expected. Like, for example, right now, kuna mvua. Just unakaa tu hivyo baridi, the rains are all over, so you're advised. For now, we're going to have heavy rains from maybe today till next week, or maybe hii mwezi yote. So you're advised, do not plant these crops, plant these other ones. So make sure you're up to date with whatever is happening in relation to the weather. If you listen to the news and you're like, msimu itakuwa jua, and you're expecting the rains, then you do a change. If you were to plant maybe the potatoes, if they won't do well with the sunny season, then you change. Make sure you're up to date on what is happening in concern with the weather. Now, another thing you can also opt to plant the drought-resistant crops. If you're in a place whereby there are no rains, unajua pia you cannot be in a dry land and then you're planting crops that require a lot of water. You should look, kwenye niko kukoaje, which plants are going to do well in these climatic conditions, which plants are not going to do well in these climatic conditions. And once you know that, then you're able to at least avoid loss at the end of the day, because remember, we are not planting to harvest nothing. You're planting so that at the end of the day, utavuna kitu, use it at home, and also sell and gain money. So some of the drought-resistant crops that you may plant, an example is sorghum. Sorghum does well in an area where hakuna maji mengi. okay? Millet also is another option. And also you can do fast maturing maize. There are some maize that mature really fast. They don't require a lot of time, you know, a lot of water or anything. They just mature fast. So if you're in an area whereby there are no rains, little or no rains, you can try these 3 plants and you'll see a very good outcome at the end of the day. Another thing you can do as a farmer, when you're out there, you're looking, you're expecting rains, but then it's not promising. You can also harvest your water. There are very many ways in which you can harvest your water. Harvesting water is just collecting water and preserving it for future use. We do this even at our homes, not necessarily for farm use. We even do this for our homes, you know. If you look and if you listen, maybe you have the news that there will be no rains, there will be little or no rains. You can harvest your water as a farmer so that your crops will never lack the water. So how do you harvest your water back at home? You can use tanks. If you have tanks back at home, you use them. You can also use small dams. You can dig up small dams and you preserve your water. These are some of the ways actually that are used by people who live in the dry lands. Most have now come up with this dam, the small dams, the building up of small dams. You just dig an area and then you trap your water, flows into the dam, and that way you'll never lack. You never lack the water. Maybe by the time now the rains are coming, if you had used the water in your dams, by the time the rains are coming back, the water is about to end. That way again you add another water and you'll never lack water for your crops. And even for use at home, maybe. You can also use ponds to collect the water. You know, you can dig up ponds and you collect your water and preserve it. This way, whenever the rains are not coming, you water your plants without having any stress that there are no rains, and your crops will always be healthy. Another way you can use to make sure that your crops are still growing as they are supposed to, you can also do simple irrigation. Now remember, like I've said, you trap your water. If you're in an area where there are no rains, you trap your water. So that means if you're in an area where there are no rains, maybe there are little or no rains, you trap your water. Now you cannot again use the water anyhowly without having to like measure it. You know how to use your water. You have to have a way of how you're going to use your water. You plan yourself. Today I'm going to water maybe in the morning and in the evening. How many maybe jerry cans will I use? You know, what are some of the ways that I can use to make sure that the water I'm using is not excess? Because again, you don't have a lot of water to just use anyhowly. So there are types of simple irrigation methods that you can use. One of them being drip irrigation, another one being bottle irrigation, and the use of sprinklers. So drip irrigation is whereby kwa mimea yako you have maybe pipes, you know, on the roots. You have the pipes going down all over your crops, zimecover mimea yako yote. So ukifungulia maji inatoka na hizo pipes umedunga maybe shimo. Zinatoka tu a drop, a drop, a drop, a drop. That way you're preserving water. You're not using it in excess. Maji yenye itatumika si mengi. Just a little amount, the one that is required by the crops. Again, remember, kuna pia mimea unapatanga, maybe if you overdo the irrigation, it won't do well. So you just use the drip irrigation to make sure that mimea haikosi maji. It's always flowing, na pia inapata the required amount of water. Another method you can use, I've said sprinklers. This is whereby the sprinklers, unakifungulia hivi na sprinkle maji all over. This also helps save water because again, maji mengi hayatumiki, and also it is going to cover a large area at once because in a sprinkle. So it's going to cover a large area at once. That helps also in preserving the water. And your plants are always going to be healthy and growing. Now, another thing you can also do as a farmer back at home is to make sure that you manage your soil. What is soil management? Soil management ni whereby you look, mchanga yangu, is it in the right manner? It will support the growth of my crops. Have I treated my soil well? nimelima vizuri, nimeondoa magugu, have I removed the stones maybe, have I cleared any unnecessary thing that is in the soil that will maybe hinder my crops from growing. Now once you do that as a farmer, you can be assured that at the end of the day, mimea yako yote itakuwa healthy and you're not going to have what is this called, loss at the end of the day. So as a farmer, make sure you do that. Soil manage, try planting the crops that are maybe drought resistant if you are in an area whereby hakuna mvua ama mvua ni kidogo. Another thing you can do as a farmer is make sure you can do agroforestry. This is the planting of trees. So you have your farm, maybe you have a large farm. Ukipanda mimea, make sure kuna spaces tu una preserve the spaces for the planting of trees. Remember, the trees help a lot because they act as windbreakers. Pia zina trap maji, you know, and also they provide the fresh air in your farms. So if you do all this, kutakuwa na lack of soil erosion. Kama mvua itakuja maybe mingi again, ibebe, haitabeba mchanga because the trees are there to make sure that there is no soil erosion. Again, pia itasaidia kuvuta mvua. You know, we say that the trees help in bringing rain. So again, you see that your area kutakuwa kunanyesha because you have the trees. You avoid deforestation. That is why we are told to avoid as much as possible kukata miti. We avoid deforestation, and in that way, we always have rain. Climate pia itakuwa sawa because again, you see, like we have said, the trees help in kuleta mvua. So hautawahi kosa mvua in your area. Pia hakutakuwa na soil erosion. Okay? Na pia tumesema pia the trees zina act kama they bring the fresh air. So your crops also, they will grow in a place where the air is conducive. Hewa safi, mimea yako pia itakuwa ikiwa mimea strong. Now another thing we are going to look at today is the different ways in which a farmer can market their crops. Remember, once you plant, you want to sell. Maybe you're doing your farming to sell. You're not only doing it for home use. What are you going to do to market your crops? What are some of the ways you're going to use so that your crops go out there na pia upate income yenye unataka? Because remember, in whatever we do, we want a return. Haufanye tu kitu ufanye, you want to do this, you're putting in your effort, pia unanunua vitu, so again your capital is there. So you want, nikipanda, nitapata nini at the end of the day? Now, farmers really put in the effort in planting, but then they forget to put in the same effort in looking for market. Maybe they don't know how to, or maybe, let's just say maybe they are not that, they don't know how to do that. But if only farmers put the same effort they put in planting, pia kutafuta market, then they will have great income. They will have great income. Now, there are some of the ways that a farmer can use back at home, kujimarket. Maybe you're a farmer back at home, unapandanga, let's say, carrots or tomatoes. Now, you're there in your home, wewe unajulikana tu na watu wa area yako. If maybe you live in, let me use Kiambu, maybe in a village called, what is this? In a village called Githiurore, for example, unajulikana tu na the people who live in Githiurore village. Hakuna mtu mwingine anakujua, just the people around you. What can you do? You know, yes, that's a good number, but again, you can be known even countrywide. And you know, the more you're known, the more the income, you see, the more you're known, the more the income, and the more you live a happy life. Because hiyo ni kama kujiajiri. You know, we said farming is a source of employment for most people actually, especially when you wanaishi huko mashambani. That is a source of employment and something that you're supposed to embrace as the young people. Because remember, we said that most of the youths nowadays, most of them are not into farming, but as we grow, tunaenda tukijuanga that farming is not how we used to view it. We used to view farming as something done by, you know, the ones who are huko mashambani. ama pia wenye hawajasoma, wenye hawaja succeed kwa masomo, but that is all wrong. Farming is a source of employment, something that is actually very good. If we all decide, let's stop with that thought. Let's put aside the thought of farming haiwezi fanywa na mimi, maybe nimesoma siwezi indulge into farming. If we put that aside, then we are going to be doing ourselves a very huge favor. So a farmer back at home can use different methods to announce themselves out there to the world that, hey, I am in Kiambu, I go by the name, I do this, I plant this is how I sell. Yeah. So some of the things that a farmer can use is the digital platforms. We all have phones. I believe even most farmers back at home, everyone nowadays has a smartphone, to be precise, a smartphone. So you are in social medias, you are in Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, kwanza farmers wengi sana, especially the older generation, wako Facebook sana sana. You find them there. So use that platform as a farmer. Just go, take a picture or a video, show us what you do, record yourself, post it out there. You have followers. So once you post, remember anything you post in the social media, it travels so fast. You have followers, people share, and you never know who's watching. You just market yourself. Tell us, this is what I plant. I am located in Kiambu, in Nyeri, in Murang'a, in Meru. This is what I plant. I can deliver to you. You also offer delivery services, because remember, I can be in Nairobi and you're in Meru. How is that you're planting going to reach me, the consumer? So you can offer the delivery services. And nowadays people want that so much. If you're having a business and there are no delivery services, I don't think your business is going to prosper, because it is going to reach a large number of people, but then how am I going to get it as the consumer? So make sure as you're marketing yourself, you also have the option of delivery services. So if you're in Meru, maybe Meru is known for Miraa. I want the Miraa to come to me. In Nairobi, the consumer, I want to purchase from Meru and I want it to reach me in Nairobi. So if you have a delivery service, you see, that is going to be easy. You just send in the goods and I send you the money. So that is the social media. If you're in TikTok also, nowadays a lot of people are making money using TikTok. TikTok is not just for fun. You just don't sit, buy your bundles or use your Wi-Fi to just scroll. If you're wise enough, if you're up to date with whatever is happening, you know that TikTok is used by many people to make money. So it is you to decide, how am I going to use my TikTok platform to make me money? So as a farmer out there again, you just go, film your land, film your crops, take a picture, take a video, explain to the people out there, I plant this, it has this importance in your bodies, I sell at this price, it's going to reach you in this manner. If you order maybe today, how many days is it going to take to reach you as a consumer? And that way, again, it's going to reach a very huge number of people, and that you're going to have great income at the end of the day. So as a farmer out there, maybe you're wondering, I have all these crops, zime grow, the number of people around me, they can't finish all of them. What am I going to do? TikTok, Facebook, in short, the social media platforms is one way to market yourself. Now we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back to continue with some of the ways a farmer can market themselves.
Looking for powerful, crystal clear sound for your next event? At Chai TV, we've got you covered nationwide. From weddings to church services, corporate events to outdoor concerts, birthdays to rallies, we deliver top-notch sound systems, microphones, mixers, speakers, DJ setups, lighting, and full audio support to make your event unforgettable. Based in Nairobi but serving the entire country, Chai TV is your trusted partner for quality, reliability, and clean sound that moves the crowd. Call or WhatsApp us today on 0799 220 217. Chai TV, let your sound be.
Jua kuchomoza, kabla biashara kuanza, kuna kitu kimoja kinatangulia, chai. Kenya ni utamaduni wetu.
We, hii chai ni moto.
Na inachangamsha.
Na hii ni chai gani? Hii ni Kiru tea.
Na Kiru ni chai tamu.
Kiru tea, kitu ya nguvu, kitu ya watu, ladha halisi ya Kenya. Kabla jua kuchomoza. Welcome back, viewers. Now we were looking at smart farming and we were dwelling on the different ways a farmer can market themselves. How do you get to make a lot of people know that you are a farmer out there, you have the goods, you have the crops, and you're ready to sell? How are you going to reach a huge number of people? And we said that the first way you can do is the use of social media platforms that we all have. Most people are into social media. Now, the other way you can use to market yourself as a farmer out there is by going to the consumers yourself. This is the direct consumer sale. You go to yourself, you present yourself as the farmer. Maybe you can visit schools, churches. You can also sell in restaurants. You go yourself, take yourself with whatever you plant as a sample, of course, because again, you cannot come to me telling me I am a farmer, I plant carrots or tomatoes or whatever you plant, and you don't have something to show. Again, you must come with the evidence. Unakuja na evidence kwa karatasi. You tell me, I go by the name, I plant this, and this is a sample, and I want to, sell to you, the consumer. So you see that if you practice that, door to door, go to the restaurants, go to the schools, sell them whatever you have. Again, you're marketing yourself. Something that I don't know if it is done by a lot of people, but that is another way to reach a lot of people. Remember, you're planting to sell, so you want to gain profit, and people cannot come to you. It reaches a point, now you have to go to them. You have to go to the consumer. The consumer won't come to you. You go to them. You make them know that I do this. Maybe we can come we can have a contract. I'll be selling you this. Maybe it's a school. So if you visit the school and show them whatever you're planting, if it is of use to the school, you never know, it can be a lucky day and you can be their supplier. That is another way a farmer can market themselves. And remember also, for you again to be able to market yourself, you must have done a proper branding. You brand yourself, brand your crops. How are you packaging whatever you're planting? Is it in a manner that is, eye-catching? Do you bring me that and I'm like, wow, I want to use it, I want to buy it? So also, brand yourself. Make sure that whatever you're presenting is nice, is good looking, is something that I would want to use over and over again. First of all, make sure that you're clean. Whatever you're presenting is also clean, because remember, again, you cannot bring me something that is just maybe unkept, dirty, rotten. You must bring to me something that is fresh, something that is well packed, something that also maybe has a name. You can come up with a name, sit, decide. If I'm planting tomatoes, how will I call them? How will I call my plants? You see, again, that way also I'll be able, as the consumer, it will be easy for me to remember. I got this from this farm, for example. I got this from this because it has a name. Also, as the consumer, as I am, maybe somebody comes and asks me, where do you get your kales from? I'll be able to remember and say, I get them from this farmer, located in this place, and they sell at this, maybe this price. Also, a farmer, you should be able again to do a market research. A farmer should know what's in demand before you plant. Again, you cannot plant something that is not in demand. As a farmer, you should be up to date with whatever is in demand. Is it the season whereby people want maybe potatoes? Plant that. So that even if you go out there to maybe market yourself, people are in need of that. That is what the people are looking at. You just don't plant anything because maybe you have the farm. You just plant. No, look at what do people want, because again, planting also happens in seasons. Seasons comes, season goes. So there's a time people want potatoes. There's a time people are in need of tomatoes. Maybe there's maybe few tomatoes in the market. So if maybe you had planted the tomatoes, you have them in your farm, then that means you're going to have more income, because at the end of the day, wewe uko na nyanya na wengine hawana. So you go out there, you market yourselves in the social media platforms, you visit the schools, the hotels, tell them, I have this and I'm going to sell to you at this price. I can be supplying also, you know, make a deal as a farmer. And at the end of the day, you have your income. And that is what we all want. We want to make profits at the end of the day. Again, a farmer should also be able to join circles. Joining circles also helps a farmer a lot, because remember, a circle is there to help you grow. A circle is there to help you when maybe you have less capital, you wanted to do something, you wanted maybe to buy fertilizer, maybe you wanted to buy something for the farm, maybe tools to farm, and you're less cash. A circle can be able to hold your hand, give you the money, and make sure that you continue farming at any given time. So a farmer should be able to be in one or two circles maybe. Okay? In a circle, this is something that is even done back at home. You find that people have formed a group, and in this group, they do something, maybe they contribute a certain amount of money, and then they do something together. Something that one person maybe could not have been able to do within a short period of time. But when you're many, you're able to contribute and do whatever you're supposed to do within a short period of time. So a farmer also should be able to be in a circle. And also the circles, maybe they also help in finding new, maybe the consumers, you know. There are very many advantages of a farmer being in a circle. So you're a farmer out there, make sure, just try, join one or two circles, and you'll see the benefits. At the end of the day, you're going to be able to do a lot of things that you could have not been able to. Maybe you could have been able to, but it could have taken a little bit more time to accomplish than when you're in a circle. So a farmer out there should be able to make sure that you're doing that. And I've also talked about contract farming. This is whereby you visit schools, the hotels, like I've said, and be able, you know, you sign a contract with them. Tell them, I plant this and I want to be supplying to you. Ukilima pia unajitafutia pia kazi ingine ya kusupply. You know, every day lazima tu unajituma tu. You make sure unajimarket huko, unatafuta hizo ma contract, and at the end of the day huwezi kosa. There's no you're going to go to a school, a hotel, or maybe 2 or 3 schools or 2 or 3 hotels na ukose mmoja yenye utapata your contract. Another way a farmer can really gain, you know, is making sure that if you're planting, let's say tomatoes, which are some of the ways, how can I sell these tomatoes? Nitauza tu hizo nyanya zikiwa nyanya, ama kuna njia ingine naweza kuja nayo? Is there another way I can come up with to make sure, like, maybe I manufacture, I process the tomatoes into a tomato sauce? I'm planting potatoes. Nitauza tu ikiwa viazi, ama pia naweza come up na another way. You can also start selling your what is this called? Chips. You can also start selling chips as a farmer. You sell the potatoes, yes, to the consumers out there, to the other sellers who are going to sell to the consumers out there kwa soko or kwa vibanda. But again, you can also decide, hizi ni za kuuza, hizi zingine nitatengeneza chips, something that is actually consumed a lot by people out there. You find that somebody is at home, ameboeka and ako like, what am I going to eat? And the person just clicks chips. So as a farmer, look at what you're planting. Try thinking of other ways of how, what can I do with this that I have kwa shamba other than kuuza ikiwa tu hivyo. So I believe that we have learned a lot today, and thank you for tuning in. That was all for today on the Smart Farming. I have been your host, Immaculate Mugo. See you next time.